Now, if you're over 55 and you're thinking about moving, there's one question that can stop you in your tracks, and that is, should you move to be closer to your grandkids or stay in your current home? Well, if you're dealing with this decision, I'm going to walk you through some key things to consider before you decide. Hi, my name is Casey, and on this channel, I share information about the 55 and older communities here in Southern California. And I often speak with seniors considering a move to the communities of Trilogy, Glen Ivy, or Terramor here in Corona. And one of the most common reasons people call me is because they're considering a move here to be closer to their adult kids and their grandkids. And trust me, I get this one. This isn't just a financial decision, it really is an emotional one too. And this is something that my wife and I wrestle with ourselves. So if you're in the same boat, let me share why we made the decision to stay here in California, and hopefully it'll help you decide what's best for you too. So a few years ago, my wife and I really needed to move to a single-story home. I had suffered an injury, and our two-story home just wasn't working for us anymore. So we started to explore our options. And one of the options we looked at was to move to a more tax-friendly state. And in reviewing the numbers, this would have saved us a lot of money in the long run. So it was tempting. But we realized that if we did move out of state, we'd be missing out on spending time with our 2 adult kids and our 4 grandkids. And sure, we could fly back and forth for visits, but the reality is we'd probably only see them a couple times a year. So we'd miss out on seeing our grandkids' school activities and their sporting events. And these are things that we really enjoy. So to be honest, it really wasn't a hard decision for us. There's no doubt that moving to another state like Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, or Florida would have been much better for us financially, especially when you consider these places offer lower taxes, no state income taxes, lower home prices, and a lower cost of living. But if it meant missing out on spending time with the people we care about the most, I really don't think we would have been happy. And while it's definitely not cheap to live here, we realize that the weather, the lifestyle, and the proximity to our family really mattered to us. So we chose to stay here in California, and we found a beautiful home in the community of Terramor, which is one of the 55 and older communities here in Corona. But I know that for a lot of seniors, this can be a really tough decision. And it can start to feel like a tug of war between wanting to be near your family and spend time with your grandkids versus the financial benefits of moving to another state. And no one wants to make a mistake when it comes to a decision like this. But there are other things to consider too. Things like, what's the weather like in the state you're going to be moving to? Now, I know a lot of seniors I speak to that are trying to move back to California really miss the great weather that we have here. And I think it's something that a lot of us take for granted. But in talking with people that have moved away, the weather seems to come up a lot. Now, some states have very cold winters, and other states have overwhelming heat and humidity. But people always remind me how good the weather is here in California. And what about your health care? Now, for us, if we moved out of state, we'd be starting over trying to find a new doctor and a dentist to provide our care. And I'm sure we could have found one. But there's just something about having a doctor that we've been going to for so long now that makes us feel very comfortable. And we do feel like we're in good hands when it comes to our health care. And when it comes to keeping busy or finding things to do, we really do have a lot of options here in California. Now, I could go on and on about all the things there are to do here, but I think we can all agree that we have a lot of choices. From restaurants, movies, plays, wineries, sporting events, and more. There's just no shortage of things to do here. And all of these things contribute to a good quality of life. And when I speak with seniors that have made the decision to move out of state, a lot of them tell me they really miss the things they left behind. And some of it are the things I just mentioned. But by far the biggest thing people say they miss is their family, and especially the grandkids. And this really is by far the most popular reason I hear from people on why they want to move back. But we also see this exact same situation, but in reverse. Now, we have a lot of seniors that currently live here in California, but have an adult child that ends up having to move out of state for a job or a job transfer. And when this kind of thing happens, their grandkids can end up moving clear across the country. So these seniors are faced with the same decision: either stay here where they're comfortable or make the move to be closer to their grandkids. And again, this is a very common reason why I hear from seniors that need to sell their home so they can move. So if you're in one of these situations, what's the right answer? Well, there really isn't one right answer for everyone, and that's what makes this so hard. Now, some seniors make their decision based on the financial situation, and for these people, moving out of California does make a lot of sense. But others lean towards emotions and family, and these people often look for a nice senior community to call home that's close to their kids and their grandkids. But if you're facing this decision, Here are a few things I'd encourage you to think about that can help you make your decision. Are your kids and grandkids settled, or could they be moving again soon? Do your adult kids rely on you to help and support taking care of your grandkids? How important is your current support system for your day-to-day living? Things like friends, doctors, church, and your activities. And if you decide to move out of state, could you afford to travel to visit your grandkids? Or what about your health? Would this impact your ability to travel? These are all things to consider before making a move. But at the end of the day, the best choice is one that gives you the most happiness and the most peace of mind. Now for us, it meant staying in California to be near the people we love. And thankfully, we were able to find a home and a community that fit our needs. But if you're facing this situation, I'd be glad to talk you through your options and see if I can help you decide what's best for your next chapter. And if you're curious about the 55 and older communities like Trilogy at Glen Ivy or the community of Terramor, I've got plenty of videos about these communities, so feel free to check them out. Now, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.